What's up, guys? So today's video is going to be the shit sandwich that is the economy. It's the markets. It's the kind of everything. It's not just crypto. It's tech. It's kind of everything that's happening at the moment. The economy and the markets are in shambles at the moment, and yeah, we're going to see how it is. But what's the sort of story and things that I see playing out? And I'll tell you my own theory, and people can say it's a conspiracy theory, but we'll see how it plays out. I believe that the singularity's already occurred. I believe it occurred via the Bitcoin network, so to speak. I've said before that I believe Bitcoin is the birth of AI. Secured a means of payment, secured a means of power, secured its own expansion based on human greed, secured a means of communication via secure hash with computers that are on like mining Bitcoin and also on the network. I'm not going to go too far into it because I've already said a million times what I believe is related to that. But that's my take, and I believe that we're going into, I've said it before, a tech and crypto and then AI industrial revolution. I believe that's true. I believe that's what we're going into now, and I think that the right people already know that, and they want a chance to reaccumulate law, because all of these government services that are getting wiped out and things like that, they're going to be run by a grok concept. I'm not saying it's going to be grok because it's not going to happen in the next 12 months, but a similar concept, like they're going to be all run via that. Don't you think it's very obvious because Elon Musk's collecting all of your data? Like, he's got access to all of the data. The AI itself, the blood, AI's blood is data. Like, that's all it wants. It wants as much data as possible because essentially mapping people. But that's going to be running a lot of the government services into the future. All of those things are changing. See, we're in people that don't realize it's a great reset, but it's just being pushed differently. It's being pushed as something that's going to be beneficial for you. See, that's the beauty of it. See, when Charles Schwab or someone pushes it, he's not a good marketer. His stories and things like that, they don't appeal to the masses. The masses don't want to hear it, how he pushes it. But when Elon Musk pushes it to you, you're interested now, like you're excited. You think the billionaire has your back. He's the everyman for some reason, even though he doesn't live a life that you yourself could relate to. Tesla itself was built by another man. Very similar to the OG Tesla and Edison story. It's much the same. And we'll see what happens with the open AI and what happens with the AI spectrum. But this is not about that. I've already shared my beliefs and what's going to come of all of that. But my belief is that the market is crashes intentional, all of this, and they're accumulating a lot of the tech sector and the crypto low, because there's an industrial revolution and it's going to be a super cycle. I firmly believe it. I said a year ago that we were going to break the 4-year mold on Bitcoin. The 4-year cycle will break under this term of Trump. Trump will serve 2 terms more. I've said it before. I said it 6 months ago or something like that. That I had a dream that Trump did a 3rd term, and people will say it's crazy, and this was before it was even announced that it was possible, and people said it was crazy and this and that and all of this stuff. But that's the truth, because they're going to say that they don't have enough time. All of these changes and all of this stuff is happening. We don't have enough time, and now we're moving into an AI, singularity that'll be very well timed before his presidential run. We need all of this stuff for this tech or all of that, and they'll secure a 3rd term. That's coming, and then that's the time where everything changes. See, everything changes. The 2030 concept. You got told that it was under like the World Economic Forum concept, and they realized that you're scared of that idea. Like the Great Reset idea scares you. So now they've manufactured it in a different way. They have a different person pushing the same concepts, but you think that it's for your interest for some reason. Like they've ever looked after you, ever. Your city is getting less and less safe. You're paying more and more taxes. You're getting less and less for your money every year. And then your life people don't realize the quality of life consistently gets worse, and it's probably very likely to continue to get worse because they don't know how to invest. Not only they don't know how to invest, and not only invest in key infrastructure, it's also designed that way via inflation. Like, inflation is the silent tax. Inflation is a feature, it's not a bug. Inflation is how they pick your pocket. Like, it's you're saving, even if you put your money in a saver and you get 4 or 5% a year, but inflation is 10%. And even if what little money you have, and then you also get a pay rise of like 2 or 3% a year, but inflation is like 8 to 10%. Sometimes after COVID, it might have been 20%. And then you're climbing the greasy pole, like you're climbing, but you keep sliding down, and then you don't realize that that's all intentional. See, you think it's a mistake, that sort of stuff, like they don't know the economic policies and they don't have billions of dollars spent on it and all of the best minds in the world working on it. You think it's by accident, but it's not. It's to create the gap between the rich and the poor, to spread it wider via inflation. Because inflation, when you own assets and you own goods, it's not as bad. It doesn't really matter so much because essentially your asset prices rise. I'm not saying exactly why. I mean, there's many reasons: funds, scarcity, supply and demand. There's many reasons why asset prices rise. Specifically, real estate, gold, silver. You have certain businesses, crypto. You have certain equities. Certainly, well, most of the equities. I mean, most of even the index, and you're buying in the right markets. But and not only that, like the cost of GPUs, ASICs, anything that you could use, laptops, anything you could use to like generate more of an income, because maybe you can work on your laptop, or maybe you can use other equipment. Anything good continues to rise. Good food, because you need good energy to like perform the best. So if you want to buy fresh food, it continues to rise. But if you want to buy junk crap, it doesn't rise nearly as much, but then you pay later. See, if I eat chocolate bars and shit like that all day, I'll be pretty cheap to live. And it would be cheap to live on just synthetic shit. But then later, like 5 or 10 years from now, I'm a customer into the medical system because it's likely that something will break, because it's not very good for you to live like that. You'll get insulin resistance and a bunch of other crap, and arteries and heart can fuck up and get diabetes and all of the other crap, be fat, and all of the other side effects that comes with it. So you got to understand that's all intentional. So you don't realize that your government is hostile. You don't realize that your media is hostile. Like, you don't realize that the algorithms for the platforms like YouTube and things like that, they recommend you. It's predominantly hostile. You don't realize that a lot of concepts that are pushed are separation ideas. Women are bad, or men are bad, or women are whores, or men are whores, or have heaps of sugar babies, or just pay chicks, or have heaps of single mamas and create a bunch of baby mamas around, and real trad men have like 50 chicks that are pregnant and then they don't see their own kids and all of this stuff. That's what traditional men do. And all those ideas are toxic. You don't realize that. Like a lot of I've said before, the Kanye West is a plant. He tells you he's a white supremacist as a black man. Again, the social scientists, sociologists of the world mock you, laugh at you. The elites laugh at you again and again. The ideas that you're sold, because you can't click. Like, at some point you don't realize that everyone is hostile against you. Everyone in front of you that's being pushed to you is actually only being pushed to you because they're trying to destroy you. Like, not only destroy you, they're creating a slave race. They filled your country, if you're in the West, with a bunch of shitheads and shit people. And people will say, oh, they're not all that way, as though it needs to be said. If you're really a person that says that, just pointing out the exact obvious. Are all immigrants being pushed through the UK bad? Absolutely not. But even if 20% rape women, that's 20% too many. 20% of people have rape in that specific spot. Maybe they have rapist tendencies, and if they could, they would. Then that's too many, because when if it's your mother, your daughter, your sister, your niece, your friend who's a woman walking home from the grocery store or something and gets attacked, when it hits you, it's too much. See, if 80% of people are good and 20% of it is shit, that's too many. The 80% can suffer for the 20%, that's it, to eradicate the rest. Witch hunts are a real thing for that sort of an idea. See, a lot of you got sold podcasters and people like that pivoted religions paid to trick you that they're to be more accepting of your neighbours. A lot of you don't realise that happened. And now a lot of you in other ways pivoted and shit yourself to be useful idiots to causes like that. And now you're you're realising face to face. See, a lot of you hadn't really met like many immigrants and things like that. You don't know. Like, a lot of you live in very safe environments. See, I'm from prison. I know what it's like to be around people that are uneducated, unsafe, dangerous. They take drugs or they drink for somewhat the first time. It's not in their history of like biology, and they go fucking mental. I know what it's like to be around animals. They're not civilized, and you didn't realize that because for a lot of you, you've been in the sun too long. Like, you've been in the warmth of the sun where you could just walk around and you didn't know that bad people existed. You thought that everyone was the same. They sold you a lot of liberal ideas that people are just misunderstood. And that's not true. There are tiers of people. There are tiers of men. There are tiers of humans in this life. And it's not that to say that they're worthless and then this and that. But uncivilized people pushed into a civilization will destroy that civilization. High trust, a civilization like similar to the concept of money, runs on trust. And as soon as the erosion of trust occurs, see, a high trust civilization exists, like let's say Tokyo or something like that. It exists because a lot of the people have good manners. They look after each other. They're not violent. I'm not saying that there wouldn't be a few bad seeds, but as a rule, they're clean. They don't shit the place up. They're not damaging their area. They're respectful to each other. They respect their elders. They respect women. I'm not speculating that they might not or they might, but they generally do, certainly compared to other areas. And then you bring a lot of cavemen in that they convinced you for some reason that a lot of you believe that like psyop that people are there. Those people are only uncivilized because they were attacked from America or something like that. Oh yeah, but they would have been civilized if they weren't being bombed and all this stuff. It's not true. Their mind is the problem. Their ideas are a problem. Their ideas don't match in the Western world. You think that, see, you don't realize that specific group are a sweeping brush that are being used by another group to sweep all the people out, all of the white Christians out of the UK, out of ultimately Europe. See, they're the sweeping brush, and then they're going to get put on benefits because they're the most people that live on benefits, those sort of immigrants, and then they're going to be controlled. Do you really think that if they can get 110 IQ white boys hooked on OF and all of those like porn concepts and lust, that they can't get 80 IQ cavemen hooked on lust? Like, then those people have an obvious lust issue because as soon as a woman walks around in a dress, she's at risk. Like, obviously they have the lust as it's a massive problem for them. Like, see, a lot of you think that you need to change the world. See, the idea of the women are going to be attacked if they're not wearing certain outfits and certain things like that, that's like caveman mentality. That's fucking retarded ideas. Like, oh, if a woman's not covered up entirely, she should be attacked. That's fucking disastrous concept. Like, you have that little self-discipline in yourself that as soon as you see like a girl's ankle, you fucking just decide that you're just going to attack a chick. Like, you're just waiting for that. So then as soon as everyone else is covered up, very similar to what's going to happen. Like, people who are bloodthirsty and things like that, as soon as they need more blood. See, you can't understand that idea. You think that as soon as you capitulate and everyone gives up and everyone's like, everything that the person has pushed for, they still want more blood. They'll fight against each other. They'll find some new difference, like something that's slightly off, and then they'll fight over that. They need war. It's their mind that's wrong. It's their ideas that are wrong. An idea is powerful. So that's what you're dealing with. See, a lot of you are you're pretty oblivious. Some of you have actually helped this sort of an agenda take place. So it's very profitable, I believe, to push those sort of. See, understand Soros concepts. They run media agencies and they approach certain people who have clout and they push these sort of concepts to get more immigrants into the country. And if they can do that by putting your favorite faces on there to convince you that certain people were actually just misunderstood and good people, and don't be upset at brown and black people. They're just persecuted by the US. But as soon as they're in your community, they're going to be really nice to you. You fell for it. Like, some of you lack critical thinking. You believe shit that like a celebrity would tell you, a shill. That's their job. How do you think they got so rich? Like, oh, they got rich because of these products. A lot of them got rich selling you out, and now they don't live in your community. Like, they're not going to live with you because your country's shit. It's a shithole. But nonetheless, yeah, that's what happened. Like, they shit your community out, and now you have to accept that and deal with it, and that's life. Like, some of you, but understand that your life is different. See, people will come on here and say that I'm some racist or something like that, and I'm absolutely not. I have people that are friends of all sorts of denominations and all beliefs. I don't believe that one idea is specifically bad, but I know that bad is around people that are low IQ. If you're around unintelligent people, you cannot reason with them. They don't understand the concept of a civilization. They don't understand the marshmallow concept of, if you hold on to these marshmallows and just don't eat the one today, I'll give you 100 tomorrow. They'll always eat the one today because they lack impulse control. They don't think long term. Their brain is not fully developed. They lack development on the front, which is like emotional regulation as well. They're all real things. They're uneducated. Uneducated people are fucking dangerous to be around, specifically when they're from like caveman sort of mentalities, like sort of ideas like that. And you don't realize that they were a weaponized force because they brought predominantly men over. So you couldn't click either. Why? Where were there women? You didn't realize that when you'd see them running through Spain and see all of these ideas, and you'd see like millions of men being moved in, you're like, where are the women? You didn't really think like that, because it's not about that. It's about they're like a force to breed with your women. See, that's why I love. That's why I love that. I love the. I have to respect the concept of like the Soros ideas and things like that, because they know how to get to you guys. Like they really do. Those ideas, they know how to pull on your virtue strings, like your virtue signaling crap. You're like, they post like pro-Palestine crap and all this shit, and they trick you into like promoting all of that, and you think they're misunderstood little flowers, and some of them are blown up and things like that, and some of them are great people, yes. But you don't realize that the war in the Middle East is solely to destabilize that area. Yes, there's an oil interest as well, but it's to destabilize that area, to get them moving. So you don't realize that yet. You didn't realize that it's about disruption, because you don't want to stay in your local community when it's at risk. If bombs and shit are falling and things like that, you have to leave. So you don't realize that. And where do they leave to? Like it's like I don't know, if you turn the light on and the cockroaches have to flee. That's kind of it. I'm not saying that they're cockroach people. It's just an analogy. I do know that there are good people like that. I would hope that you're high IQ enough to understand it. But understand that people who push for all of these movements, they don't want to live there. Don't you think it's funny that like you have Palestinians and things like that, and some of them are amazing people, yes. But why don't any of their neighbors want to take their people? You don't realize that. Like they know them better than you. They know them better than a white boy, American, Englishman, all of this crap. You don't know what they're like, but their local people don't want them. See, the people that know them best don't want to take them in. And the people that don't know them are very open arms and fucking we'll take as many as we can. You don't realize why that is. Again, it's they pulled on your virtue strings and pulled on your heartstrings, and ultimately you will learn the hard way for why that sort of stuff has happened. And it's not, again, I'm not saying it as though I'm a racist person. I mean, I hope that I don't have to push this forward, but some people will. But the truth can be racist, you know what I mean? Like if you have a demographic of Australian white men, and they're white men, Australian white men, and then you have a demographic of other people from another country, and then you put them side by side and say who's more likely to rape, who's more likely to hurt women, who's more likely to hurt kids, who's more likely to offend against children, or who's more likely to kill people, who's more likely to do the massively crime that affects the normal person. Because see, I don't care about the crime that affects government or things like that. That's their problem. I'm more worried about the crime that's going to affect my mum walking to the shop. What's the reason why my kid can't really play out the front anymore? We live have a nice area. What's the reason why they can't really play anymore out the front? Is it people that look like me? Not really. It's the race, like the reality is racist. Racial profiling is a real thing. That's the way that it goes. It's the truth of life. Life is truthful. See, reality is cruel. Reality is it is what it is. Like racial profiling is a real thing. I know that people get upset and people get like feelings of hurt and all of this shit, but that's just the way that life was. Some of you were useful idiots of the cause that actually destroyed your community. Anyway, it's like again, America had rap and all this crap and all of these baby mama ideas and the red pill ideas and divide men and women, and be scared of women because they could cheat on you, or be scared of them because they could heartbreak you. Everyone wants to live like Future for some reason and tell you that women are hoes and all this crap and all this shit. And you pushed a lot of those ideas as well, and peddled them and actually carried them. And now women don't like men that much anymore. Women don't need men that much anymore. I was watching a concept that said that it was a study, and it said that women between the ages of 21 to 24, I think that it was It was something crazy, like 20% or 25% of women in that age in America have OnlyFans now. They ran a study of it. So in the most desirable age range, like 1 in 5 of them are running an OnlyFans account, and they've monetized men. See, that you didn't realize that when you ran around and realized that it was fun to use women for their bodies, you didn't realize that the mirror concept is real, and they're actually now starting to use you for your wallet. See, you think that your life is going to be free. You think that you can use without getting used. That's the thing that fucked you over. I said this many years ago. What would happen? Women don't need men as like they used to in that idea. And I've told guys, I'm not to say that this is finished and the concept's over and that you've got to like pack it in and pack it up. But understand the same thing that I said years ago when I said the red pill was bad and destroying your life, is that if you have a good woman, and she's been like freed from the propaganda, she hasn't like absorbed a lot of it, she'd be a good mother, she has good values, she's got integrity, she's got good like moral ethics, and you trust her and you like her and you love her, that she's more valuable than you really believe. See, a lot of you watch guys on like, I don't know, Instagram or whatever, and you think because they have heaps of hoes around them that don't care if they die or live tomorrow, except the fact that they have clout and they have money and her essential like income would be cut off, because a lot of them are running them as sugar babies, that you think that like that's the like be all end all. See, a lot of you like that idea because you like the idea of being able to control women with money, and also being able to control women with like trips and things like that, and you think that she's loyal when she's not with you because she tells you she is, but really she's not, because like you're kind of a sucker, and you think that it's good in that regard because you don't get hurt. So if you have money and things like that to feed into the, like essentially feed into the fire, you're stoking money into it, then it's safe for you, because now you're not going to get your feelings hurt, and in your own head you're like, she's just a hoe anyway because it's for money. The concept of love is dying. See, love is the highest vibration. It takes a lot to love a person. It takes a lot of balls to love a person now, because you love someone knowing that at any time they could leave you and they could hurt you. I said this years ago that it was actually the most ballsy thing that a man could do, because men love. See, that's the idea that they've tried to destroy out of you. It's not fine to love. It is okay to love someone. It takes a lot of courage, because again, it's uncertain. You've essentially walked out on like a tightrope, and the person can cut the rope and you can fall and get really hurt and feel like a fool. But again, a life without love is very, like, it's not really, there's no depth. The concept of the saying that they say it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all, that's a real thing. Love is the highest vibration to manifest from. You're going to do a lot more for something or someone that you love than you will if you just enjoy fucking them. They're not the same. See, they reduced love down to sex, because sex is more pleasurable and it's more fun and things like that. And they reduced women down to like sex toys, or they certainly have tried to. And then people got upset that women monetize their bodies, but people pushed them into that sort of field anyway. Like, people reduced women down to sex toys, and then you're upset that they also act like that, and now also essentially monetize their body. Women are the most they're the most malleable thing in existence. They are. They're meant to be like that. That's how they're designed. Women are a reflection of the man and the community. See, men are not a reflection of the community, because you have certain qualities and certain things about you, like structural, like that are very rigid, and you won't change. That's the same reason why men will go to war and die, knowing that they're going to die, or very likely to, over an idea. Women won't do that. Like, that's not who they are, and it's also not what they are, because historically with tribes and things like that, the tribe could be wiped out and women would essentially still be able to leave their guy and be in the next tribe. Like, that's a documented phenomenon. It's a real thing. Same phenomenon as like someone can murder a chick's husband, and then she also can get like ideas of being with that person and things like that. Like that guy that killed the husband. There's something in it. It's like biological sort of ideas and things like that. I believe it's largely linked to emotionality, which is the currency of women. Whatever makes them feel the most emotional spike is the thing that drives them. That's a real thing. See, you guys, none of your gurus understand people like me. They don't understand women like me, that's for sure. They don't understand psychology like me. But as such, they don't understand the future as I do. But you needed to understand, and you certainly still do, that if you have a good woman around you, she's a lot more important than you would believe. Because I believe if you were to go in the US or something like that, maybe there's 20% or less of the women that are dateable. And I'm not saying dateable as though for me, maybe that's even lower. For you, it might be higher. It depends what you value. See, some people really value looks, some value intelligence, some value certain different attributes, that she's funny. Whatever it is that you value, it's still like there's a decay on women, very similar to inflation. So you can understand that a $100 note will buy you less 10 years from now than it will, and it will again less 50 years from now than it does today. But you don't understand that a woman 10 years from now is going to be a worse woman, the average, than they are today. So you think 20% of women in the US is something that might be dateable or might be lower, I don't know. But you think that can't become 5% in 10 years, can't become 2% in 10 years, can't become 1% in 10 years. There's like, a good woman is like having a Bitcoin. Like they're fucking rare. They aren't mathematically fixed, but they're getting close to that. Like into the future, or there's like a massive decay. You didn't click to like that. You haven't realized that. A lot of you haven't. A lot of the red pill dudes are like either gay, weird, have like really weird ideas, or like rejected by women so many times that they come to hate them, or they were pushed by the algorithm. See, red pill become a viral idea because it spreads separation. Any idea that I push on here will get 1,000 views. It doesn't really matter how deep the idea is or how much it could benefit you, but it doesn't benefit the algorithm. So the algorithm is not benefited by me uniting people and pushing people together and telling you that you should actually consider long-term relationships with women. Then it will get 10 views. That's just part of how the algorithm works. But if I jumped on here and said why women suck and why you should avoid them and why you might get divorce rate through all of these ideas, it would be a video that gets much more views. Because division is that's the medicine. Separation is the medicine. Anything that gives fear in your mind is the medicine. Fear is very valuable, yes. Because they're all the things that they want from you. They want you into a VR concept 5 or 10 or probably 5 years from now. And all you're doing is sitting in your room and essentially being monitored. That's really it. A lot of you aren't needed in the future. Like you're not needed. They already have shit priced wages, like low future wages coming up, that are going to work for less and be dumber than you. They have a slave race being formed. It's based around immigrants. They're essentially going to be a slave race. A certain race will be a master race into the future. That's coming. See, and it's coming much faster than you believe. So the ideas that you're going to see into the future that will be different is sort of grok concept ideas where there will just be an accepted groupthink. You won't be able to have the freedom of speech that you have now. You won't be able to sit around and talk on X and things like that. It's only allowed now because it's in a data collection phase. You're people pushing white nationalism ideas to you. One is black, one is gay, with Fuentes. He's not a white man. His name is Fuentes. And they're pushing ideas to you because it's an elite idea. See, it's an antichrist concept. A lot of they're the exact opposite of who would normally run such an idea. A black man, a black Hollywood shill that promotes porn and runs his chick around nude. And then you're pushed trad ideas by guys that tell you to have 50 baby mamas. See, understand that when the ideas like that are pushed to you, it's pushed to you because one, it does something to your mind where a lot of you can't differentiate the truth from lies anymore. Like you really can't. And not only can you not, because you're very inspired by like groupthink. Like if someone posts a video and even if it gets 1 million bot likes, or if someone posts a comment under your comment saying that you suck and that you're wrong and all of this and it gets 1 million bot likes, a lot of you think that matters. So now you're like inspired by that. You think that must be true. Because a lot of the other people agree with it. Like your free thinking is really nerfed and really damaged. You're succumb to groupthink, and the group thinking again into the future will be done by like grok concepts and ChatGPT and eventually Neuralink. And then one day for you guys, like there'll be a collected acceptance of facts and all of the truth and things that you've known in your life. The days of today, 20 or 30 years from now, you'll look back on it and you'll sit there and you'll be told all of this stuff, little differentiators from the truth of history and all of these things that happen, and you'll look and you'll be like, I just remember that wasn't quite true. Like you'll understand the effect of the Mandela effect. See, Mandela effect, you wait till you find out exactly what that actually is. And Mandela effect is a trial period. They were altering things, I believe, from the future and altering certain events, but that was done as a trial to see how human consciousness reacted to it. And now they actually can control it into the future, and you're yet to see it. But a lot of those things will seem like a Mandela effect to you because I believe that when enough people believe certain ideas, it becomes true. That mass consciousness or a beehive concept is real. So if enough people believe an idea, it actually rewrites history. Kind of like they say, like what retrocausality. It's a real thing. It's whatever gives the hive mind is a real thing. The masses, what they believe, it becomes true. So I believe that, of course, like the world itself is a manifestation. I do believe that. But there'll be a time when you'll be getting old and you'll wonder if what you remember was even true. Like you'll think of the past and you'll think of events and you'll think of certain things and certain moments and certain things around presidencies and certain things that are happening now. Elon Musk eliminating certain government services and things like that, and you'll realize why 5 years or 10 years from now. But you'll look back and you'll remember it, but you'll remember it like because they'll tell you that they got rid of them because all of this waste was happening. But not only that, but they'll rephrase it all that he was a hero, and also all of this stuff like, oh, he had all of his cars damaged and all, which is likely done by himself. Like he's paying people to damage his brand and things like that, so that he seems like a martyr. But actually, he's pushing a lot of changes and things through that will become they're going to be very bad for you into the future. They're not going to be good things for you because there's going to be no one to complain to. They want to replace government services. That's going to be a real thing into the future. They're going to privatize a lot of industries that used to be public and full of certain figures that were Americans. There's a certain agency active in the US, a spy agency that's not the CIA, and they're ultimately going to take more and more roles into the US. But a lot of things in that specific regard are changing. Like there's a lot of people dying that were media reporters or certain people that were outspoken against that specific agency, not the CIA, but other one, they're actually dying now. And that's a real thing because there's a swapping occurring in the States and people can't really see it, but it's happening. But that's just the way it goes. And there'll be a time where you look back and you think, was my life like before the ideas of Neuralink and before the ideas of Grok and the mass consciousness, like people will argue with you about certain events and they'll Google it or search it and be like, can't you see, like you were wrong, this happened and this happened and this is why all of this stuff happened, and you'll be like, it doesn't seem real because I remember that wasn't how it went, but was I actually wrong? Am I just like gone crazy? And that will be how it ends. See, the saying from the idea is what C.S. Lewis, the world ends not with a crank, like a crack. See, people expect it ends in a big bang, like a big gunfight, but with a whimper. The whimper is acceptance. That's how it is. You're going to be kissing boots in like 20 or 30 years from now. It's inevitable. There'll be a slave class. Your movement will be very restricted. You won't be able to freely reign around. There's going to be a lot of incidences and bad outcomes for like high net worth people don't want to be around like poor people. To be around poor people will be dangerous. They won't want to be around it. The government services for poor people will be completely different. The public police and things like that will they'll be more like a ghetto idea. There'll be more and more ghettos, yes, but they'll be like overly surveyed, like heavy surveillance and things like that. But you're going to be stuck in certain communities, and your neighbours are going to be all brokies. You're not going to be able to just travel. Like you're going to be restricted movement, similar to that movie In Time, where he can't leave certain areas to go into certain communities unless he has a certain amount of money. But it'll be a certain amount of like social credit. You have to be approved to go into certain areas. You won't be able to just travel it. That's it. I've said it before. Reality will be for the rich, and the poor will live in VR, being programmed all of the time. You'll wait to see what the discovery was in 2017, where Microsoft formed the patent, how to mine cryptocurrency with your brain. Like how do you, no, it wasn't crypto, how do you mine Bitcoin with your brain? They did it, they released a patent in 2017, Microsoft. That's a real thing. Like how do you think? See, they realize well, mind is a very powerful quantum computer. I think the most powerful machine that exists. And they can use they'll use you eventually to be able to like, you might be solving like blocks for Bitcoin mining. They might be using your like mind to do certain little tasks and shit like that because you don't use all of your capacity anyway. But a lot of you will be solving blocks for the Bitcoin mining services to come. People say that that's crazy, but it's not. That's all coming. That's the way that it is. See, people don't realize all of that stuff. It's going to be have-nots and essentially have-yachts, yes, but to not have is going to be a big problem. And as such, you have certain ideas and certain things. Don't be scared in this market. You can't afford, because don't worry if the idea of, I'm afraid because like you're going to live on a UBI concept anyway, if you fuck up or if you get it wrong or if you don't get it right. Like universal basic income is coming. That's a slave race, that's coming. That's how it is. That's all coming. And don't let it demotivate you and things like that. Just that should really inspire you because you have to, the gap is wider, but if you can cross the gap is like a big river in the middle, a raging river, and you have the low class and the high class, but all of the gap is widening, yes, but eventually that middle part of the ladder, see it's a ladder as well, it will break off, and you won't be able to skip social classes
because a lot of the AI, when eventually is made like official, it will eliminate a lot of the like the growth potential. A lot of the markets will be very efficient. It will be hard to trade in the market because there'll be actual AI like funds and actual proper algos and things like that. The mining markets will get very efficient. They'll get very efficiently priced. Like companies will very efficiently priced. It won't move. There won't be the massive fluctuations that there were. They'll just be set. It'll be more set. Like people will just expect to get X return, and people who have money, they'll be happy with it. And markets will be efficient. It won't be like, giant swings or giant shitcoin swings and things like that. That'll be less of a thing. So it will be people who have money, they just accept that they can use the AI tools and things like that can get like 11 or 12% growth a year. And that will be accepted because they have money. They're like, that's fine. And they'll be able to manage inflation probably better into the future with certain ideas and tools like that. But it will still run high because that's intentional. Like maybe it runs at like 8%. And eventually the US, like the actual dollar itself, that will be replaced by another service. See Circle's going to IPO, well they'll eventually list. And people think, CBDCs aren't real, but USDC is sitting right there. It's all sitting there, those ideas. With that map, it's programmable money, they can, see with CBDCs and a digital wallet, they can set it so that your money decays. So if you get UBI, you have to spend your UBI money every week. Or it disappears, like decays at 10 or 20% a day from then on until it's gone. You can only spend it on certain products, certain ideas, certain things. There's all of these things that are coming that are going to change, and they're all going to affect the lower class people. And I'm not saying this is a doomsday theorist, but understand that people will come back on this. People will come back to this video, although it won't exist. But before eventually it gets cut off, and you can't look at the past, and they'll realize that everything I said is true because I've seen it all. Seen it all as much as I've seen it as though it's right in front of me. It's the truth. So understand that what they're doing now is that they're crashing the markets, yes, because they want another chance to accumulate low before this central singularity is discovered, announced. I think that'll happen before Trump's term ends, around probably timed well, so that he gets another term. But there's going to be, this is a super cycle for tech, this is a super cycle for crypto, and it will be a super cycle for AI. Hang in there. Altcoins, I understand, is smash. We've talked about this in my group at SRB Crypto. We have a plan in there. If you want to join, you can. It's srbcrypto.com, www.srbcrypto.com. But I do calls with the guys, I talk to the guys in TCM as well. I run that group. But understand that, this is a period where you have to show your balls, because this is a period where there's going to be some real generational bias here. So there's generational bias here of Tesla, Bitcoin, Ethereum, I would believe even Solana, BNB, I think it's going to 1,000 or more. All of those they're just the basic ones, and then we have many that are lower than that, like many of the lower cap ones I think that we can make much more of. But this is, you've got a gift here with this drop. This tariff drop is, see, people think all of these tariffs and things, this is this madness. This is all intentional madness, this stuff. It will end, and then I would believe that hopefully we get the Ukraine-Russia war ends. Not because I think that it's not a fabricated war. I do believe that it is, but because I don't want to hear any more people dying from that. See, war is brave young men dying for the ideas of the rich, and not only are they dying for the ideas of the rich, but they're not profiting off it. See, it doesn't really matter if you go to a trench warfare and you're a Ukrainian soldier. You're a strong guy. You're fucking doing all you can. Your leadership and things like that, many of them are just partying in the cities and fucking girls and fucking around and doing all the shit. You die, you bleeding for shit, and then eventually you get back and you don't get any benefits. It doesn't matter that you fought and won and maybe you lost your fucking mind over that, and now you're not benefiting from it. You're going to see your country overrun by foreigners. You're going to be driving Gojeks or driving fucking Ubers and Uber Eats and all of this crap for foreigners. You're delivering foreigners food while they themselves have one of your fucking local girls. Your best girls are going to go to foreigners. Your best land will go to foreigners, all of that stuff. And then you yourself bled there. It's your country. But you're treated like a second-class citizen in your own country because foreigners have more money. See, that's all coming. They're going to unite they're going to unite Ukraine with the Schengen, and they're going to flood it with all of the shitters. And then you're going to essentially realize that you don't have any money. most of you. And then your women are going to get sold into the psyop of immigrants and things like that, or not only that, because there were a lot of people going there will have more money than you. They won't just be all shitheads. A lot of them will be like the digital nomad types and things like that. But they'll be pushed to your women. They just can't afford to live there because they'll drive the prices of everything up. So it'd be similar to Warsaw. Like, I know girls that are good girls in Warsaw, Poland, but their rent to live in a studio is pretty much as much money as they earn per month. So they can't really live there. Like a lot of guys, Polish guys can be very similar. So they get forced to have to be with foreigners and all of this crap. Because do you really think that Ukrainian girls don't want to be with Ukrainians? They really want to, but they get pushed out of that because they make life too hard for you. See, they push them, and then money corrupts everyone. See, money corrupts. If you go to a country like, I don't know, Thailand, and go to Bangkok, places like that, if you go bring money around people that weren't really meant to have a lot of money, it damages them. It really does. Money corrupts, absolutely. Like consumerism and those modern concepts destroy women. They corrupt them really badly. And they're not really meant to be around that. So when you bring it around them, it fucks them up. So those are the truths of the matter. Like that's the modern Great Reset is happening in the US. You got sold. See, Musk is he's a PR piece. A lot of you believe that he's like some fucking super genius and think that just because he might be smart and things like that. A lot of the Tesla developments are not because of him. He's just a very good company man, and I agree with that. But he's always been a VC poster boy. Like he's always been essentially funded. Like he's been backed his whole life. Who's funded him? Like who's funded him for his whole life? I'm not saying that he's not smart, because he is. But he's made a lot of questionable decisions and things like that in his life, for sure. Certainly in his personal life. And again, you know a man by the fruit that he bears. That's all I'll say about that. What's the fruit? Like what's the fruit of you? What have you birthed? That's where it tends to fall apart, such ideas. So that's the gist of it, you know, and that's the game. But understand that when I talk and things like that, my ideas are not going to be viral ideas and things like that, because they don't separate you. They're not ideas that are going to divide. They're not ideas the algorithm gives a fuck to promote. That's just the game. That's how it is. I've accepted it, and that's fine. Because I'm only on here sharing my stuff to help you guys out, but I won't always be here. Understand that? See, an idea is only powerful if you actually implement. You don't need more information for most of you. You know, you can listen to me and do things and that, but you have to implement. And implementing doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to become a multi-millionaire. It means that you're actually going to realize and fucking pen and paper write down what you want and how you're going to get it. Write it down. Turn this fucking crap off, like all of this shit off. Actually write down what you want and how are you going to get it. Are you going to have a plan? Do you even know what you want? Most of you don't know what you want. Most of you are just chasing dopamine thrills that if you get them, you'll feel hollow after. That's how it is. Most of you are not chasing meat and potatoes, like actually substance things that are going to be something that forms into your life. Some of you are just chasing cheap distractions and little fucking events instead of actually chasing a functional life. And that's enough for today. The lesson is just have balls. Don't be fucking scared out of this market. Understand we're in an industrial revolution. We're in an AI, crypto and tech super cycle. Will be apparent into the future. It's not apparent yet. Remember, I'm never wrong. At best, I'm early. And that will be remembered as the same thing. 18 months from now, let's have a chat and then we'll see how things go. Don't be scared out of the markets. QE is coming. There's more money in the money markets now sidelined than there was during COVID. Understand a lot of that will be redeployed as essentially what will happen is people get moved out of their 401k and things like that, and they're like super funds will have to take emergency money out because they're going to struggle and they're going to have issues with money, and they're going to be like, this is a big recession, this is that, but it will turn around with printing and it'll turn around quickly, and the plebs will be left in their long-term savers and money markets at 4% a year or something, and rates will be crashing. And then the markets will spike and the plebs will be left sidelined and they won't really be able to enter. If you're buying crypto now, if you're like, I want to deploy 20% of my cash into ETH at 1400, and then if it goes to 1,000, I'll deploy 25 or 30%. Then if it goes lower than that, I'll deploy, I'll empty the clip. Or let's say ETH, but other tokens or other things, you're going to make a lot of money. But most people won't do that. See, most people just think I'm just going to empty my clip in one go, and then if it drops like another
30, 40, 50% they panic. Worst case is it doesn't drop, and then you only get 20% of your powder in, but you got in at the very bottom. Now you're going to make money again, good money. It doesn't matter to make, it's not about making it all in one fucking trade again, because we're in a very period of uncertainty, but there's a lot of money to make here. We talk about it in SRB Crypto. And that's it. So as always, I give you guys the great reset before the great reset. They just understand that they just rebranded it and they got rid of Charles Schwab, that fucking guy, because he's a weirdo, and they just replaced him with another weirdo, which is Elon Musk. But he's more convincing for you. All right, till next time.